So, would you rather be a pirate?
Pirate. I don't care what the other option is.
Fair enough. It doesn't matter what the other option is.
No.
What if the other option was like billionaire?
Pirate.
You'd rather be a pirate than a billionaire.
You could be a billionaire as a pirate. You get respect as a pirate, and you're like notoriety.
But pirates are like old school.
So
like you don't have
what time period would I be?
Whenever pirates were popular.
So 1720s, 30s. Yeah.
Yeah, sometime around there.
Yeah, the golden age of piracy. To be a pirate in the golden age of piracy was like heaven. Like you were in the best place you could possibly be. Like you could do anything you wanted, and no one could stop you.
As a pirate.
Oh yeah. The Navy didn't have the tools to stop pirates. Like pirates just had free reign.
All they had was a boat.
Yeah, they had a faster ship than the.
What do you mean faster?
Faster, like they take a sloop, which is a small ship, and they just outrun the entirety of the Navy because the Navy couldn't catch them.
I thought they had guys that had to row.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
In the 1700s?
Yeah.
Did they have engines?
No.
Well, then what moved the ship?
Sails. What are you, stupid? Have you never heard of a sailboat?
I mean, I guess. Did they have wind back then?
Yeah. I hadn't been wind yet. Elon Musk wasn't around back then.
I didn't think about sails. I was picturing they had like all the holes along the hull of the boat, and they have all the guys underneath rowing the boat.
No, that was galleys. That's what a galley is.
So the Navy had to have sailboats.
Yeah, everybody has sailboats.
So they couldn't get the same size sails as the pirates?
They have bigger sails, but the ship would be heavier. Weight is what determined how fast you were. And the pirates were always lighter.
So why couldn't they just lighten their ship?
Because they wouldn't have as much firepower to deal with the other navies. If you were in warfare back then, the biggest ship won the battle. But the biggest ships were slow, and they couldn't catch small ships. So if these small ships were to go head to head with a big ship, they'd get blown out of the water before they even had a sort of chance. Like you'd literally have a small ship of like a pirate and a Navy ship, and the pirate would shoot the Navy ship, and its cannonballs would literally bounce off, do nothing. And the Navy ship would shoot back, and there'd just be a puff of smoke, and the pirate ship would be disintegrated.
So did these? How much do you know about pirates?
A lot.
did they just roam around just looking for someone to pick a fight with?
Well, they follow along merchant routes. So there were certain sailing routes, like routes that were the currents and wind were
How'd they know where they were going?
Because they would use the astrolabes and stuff like that.
The what?
Compasses and astrolabes. And astrolabes is what helps you track the stars. Like they navigate through the stars.
Really? Mm-hmm. That sounds miserable.
Yeah. You have to be very, very smart. Pirate captains were very smart. What was that?
Virus and threat protection. It's probably the NSA trying to get in while we're talking about all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So what do you think like an average day on a pirate ship was like?
Well, you'd just be roaming around trying to find a merchant ship.
Just looking for something to steal.
Mm-hmm. You'd like find a merchant ship or find like a helpless town to raid. So
what would they do? Just like get close to it and then just start jumping off their ship and onto that ship?
Well, the first I think they'd do is they'd use usually chain shot. So you'd have two cannonballs and a chain that runs between them to connect it, and that chain shot would be used to destroy the sails or even demast the ship, to take the mast off the ship. So once it had the sails,
did all of the because the merchant ships were basically just like a modern day or what is now like a container ship, just taking
nowhere near that big.
Well, not that big, but like what I'm saying is they just took like goods back and forth.
Yeah, and they had no weapons on them usually.
Okay, so they were completely defenseless.
Yeah, mostly defenseless, unless you had like a really big one.
How many of these things got like taken out?
A lot.
So like if they like, because like I'm thinking if they continually kept getting taken out, why didn't they put weapons on them?
They did. They just couldn't have enough. Like some of them would have like 4 or 6 cannons on them, but you could never outgun a pirate ship. You could just usually they just use them to deter smaller ships, like so a sloop couldn't get you. But if a pirate ship came up with a brig, which is a much bigger ship, like it'd be smaller than the merchant ship, but it'd have like 3 or 4 times the amount of cannons, so you'd still be outgunned hopelessly.
Were any of the pirate ships like in cahoots? Was there like 3 or 4 pirate ships together?
Oh yeah.
There was like gangs of pirate ships.
There's tons of there were lots of gangs of pirate ships. There was one pirate that was very famous because he was in the Caribbean area and he managed to capture like 14 or 15 ships, like big ships, like frigates, and even a man of war. Frigates.
That's what it's called. It's a frigate.
That's a big ship. It's like a military ship. Like a frigate nowadays is what a cruiser would be in modern times. Like a frigate was back then, it was a cruiser now, and a man of war is a battleship back then.
So like, I don't remember what I was going to say now.
Or a ship of the line is what it's really called.
A what?
Ship of the line. A ship of the line is like the standard battleship. Like all the countries in the world, the biggest countries used ship of the lines back then.
So why didn't they just like? I mean, I'm sure this probably is a stupid question because this probably wouldn't have ever worked. Why didn't they just pay the pirates to take the goods back and forth? Because they're going to take the ships anyway.
They would pay, the other sides would pay pirates to raid the other supply lines. So if you're France and you're trying to mess up Britain, you'd pay pirates to go out and attack British merchant ships, but not attack your ships.
So it's like you were like paying like an anarchy group,
they were called privateers. Privateers were paid by they were given legal rights to raid merchant ships of the enemy.
What do you mean legal rights? Because like there wasn't any laws out on the ocean, right?
No, but if you were a French ship and you saw a French privateer, you couldn't attack them.
Why not?
Because they had the legal right to do what they're doing.
How would they? How are they going to punish them?
To do what? How? What for?
That's what I'm saying. Like because you said like if it's like a French pirate ship,
yeah,
and then they see like a French merchant ship, and then they attack them.
Then they'd be traitors. They'd be treasonous.
But how would they know?
They wouldn't.
What are they going to do? Call them up on their cell phones and be like, "Hey, they're taking us down."
There had to be like a survivor of the French merchant ship or something. If not, then they just wouldn't know.
So basically, the only way that you could get like a bad reputation is just word of mouth.
Pretty much, yeah.
So like it's just some snitch was on the boat and he was just like, "Hey, they came up and killed everybody but me."
Yeah. There are so many pirates that are like, they did crazy stuff. Like everybody knows Blackbeard, but there's so many other pirates that are like even more successful than Blackbeard.
What was he known for? He
was known for just being terrifying. Like he was the most ruthless pirate ever.
That's it. He was just ruthless.
He was just really, really, really angry guy.
So he had a bad temper.
And he was also a giant. He was like back then the average height was like 5'6" or something like that, and he was like 6'4". He was a giant, and he was a tough guy to bring down.
And what like was this like 1700s?
Yeah,
somewhere around there,
like 1740s, I think.
So they just had like they weren't like rich, right?
Yeah, sometimes they were. Some of them were. Like some pirates were able to get like really, really, really good hulls. Like they'd find a merchant ship that just happened to have diamonds or something on it, and they'd be like set for life. They just retire.
They just parked the boat and they're just like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, they didn't need anything else. But most of the time they just kept going because it was the thrill of it.
They just liked being like rebels out in the sea.
Yeah, because there was pride. There was pride in being a pirate.
Really?
Yeah, you were an outlaw. Like you were.
Well, yeah, I guess you were like the outlaw against everybody.
Yeah.
Who was like the greatest pirate?
I think it was Calico Jack. I think that's who it was. Like the successful one.
I think I've heard that name somewhere before.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Calico Jack. But
I don't remember what on or what for.
No. I know who was the greatest pirate of all time. It was a Chinese pirate named it was a girl. It was she was like the pirate queen. I forget what I was like Wu or something like that, like Lady Wu or something like that. But she was incredibly just overloaded. I think she had like 700 ships under her.
What?
Something like that. Crazy. Like she had the entire Chinese coast to herself. Like no one, not even the. Like
So
the Chinese
there was
Navy-
like this many pirate ships out in the ocean.
in China, yeah, because well, not in the Caribbean they had a lot, but in China they had the organized piracy under her, and she literally controlled the Chinese coast. Like the Chinese Navy couldn't do anything. If you wanted to get through the Chinese coast, like one way or another, you had to pay for protection from the pirate queen.
So these were like the good old days.
This is way back actually.
So she controlled the entire coast.
The entire
and
Chinese coast.
if you wanted to bring stuff into China, you got to talk to her.
You gotta go through her ships.
That's like a what would be like now like a modern day like drug cartel in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like this is our town.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Can you imagine having that much power back then?
Yeah.
That'd be like, even if you didn't have like a dime to your name, that would be,
Yeah.
you said you'd have all the power.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be more than like a president.
You'd be a queen or king.